Cool. Well, welcome again, everybody. Lovely to see you all. Thanks for coming in today. And today I'm going to be talking about the Trecena of Tz'ikin. The Trecena which is coming up. Here we are on this day, 13-ish. Tomorrow starts Tz'ikin. Okay? The Trecena of Tz'ikin. What is Tz'ikin about? What qualities does Tz'ikin bring into our lives? What is it that we might be focusing on in this next 13-day period? Well, Tz'ikin is about vision. Tz'ikin is the Nawal of the bird. And the bird flies up high, and when you fly up high, you get this view over everything. You get to be able to see further into the future, right? You get to see further along your path, further ahead. That's what we do when we get up to the highest point, when we get up to the vantage point. That's what the birds can do when we watch an eagle, perhaps hunting or something like that. It's flying, it's soaring higher and higher, looking down for what's going to sustain it. And Tz'ikin is very linked in with prosperity. And so, in some ways, people will talk about it connecting with business. And so, like you will find that a lot of people here will burn green candles on a Tz'ikin day, burn green sugar on a Tz'ikin day for their businesses and that. I think that it's interesting and perhaps more apt for us to work it with prosperity. And prosperity for all. This is not about kind of like having two Porsches in the garage or anything like that. It's about thriving. It's about making sure that our family thrives, that our community thrives, that our environment thrives, because all three have to thrive together. And this is one of the things that I really see with Tz'ikin, is that when we're talking about vision for the future, we're talking about long-term things. We're talking about something which is going to keep our environment in harmony so that our children and our grandchildren can be sustained by that vision. And so this is really long-term visions coming in. And this is what this Trecena is about. It's about getting a vision, getting a new vision, perhaps. And the reason why I bring up the new vision is because we're going to start the Trecena with one Tz'ikin. And so this is literally novelty and vision. A new vision. Now we've all been through a period of time where we may have been reinventing ourselves. We may have been working on, okay, well that doesn't exist anymore. What am I going to do now? And as a friend of mine said, you know, when we were talking about attachment to the past, he's like, we have to think of it as that reality no longer exists. We are where we are now. And whilst we might be kind of like being nostalgic about the past or whatever, it's like, well, we can't go back to it. We are where we are now. And so what we need to create is a new vision that takes us forward. A new vision to sustain. A new vision for prosperity for our families and our communities. And so, whilst this can be the entire theme of the Tz'ikin Trecena, in particular, one Tz'ikin is the day to ask for it. It's a day to, literally keep your eyes open for it. It's a day to start developing that new vision into your reality. What could you find around you that maybe it's kind of like, okay, how can I make this more sustainable for my family? How can I make this more sustainable for the environment so that my family and my community aren't going to have to deal with something which was a result of a lack of vision? So there's a lot of forward thinking, and of course, we have those people that we would call visionaries, the people who come up with this idea, this vision that's going to guide us forward. It's about bringing our new vision in. Okay, so if you're looking for that, it's the great day to be making your ceremony or to be making your meditation to ask for that new vision to guide you forward. And from that, we're then going to go into Ajmak. Okay? So Ajmak is all about pardon and forgiveness. It's about accepting ourselves and others for exactly who they are, exactly who we are, exactly human. And the number 2 can represent self-sacrifice, but it can also represent relationships. It can also be seeing things in black and white. And so it could be very much a day about forgiveness within relationships.
Which day is this?
To Ajmak. Yeah, Monday, basically. And so this is a day to kind of like maybe work with your partner, if you've got one. Or maybe work with yourself. Maybe there's something within the relationships from your past where you either need to forgive yourself or somebody else. Tu Ajmak is a great day to do that because you're releasing a burden, guilt, blame, shame, those kind of things. Tu Ajmak is exactly the day to do it. Now, of course, you could make a Mayan fire ceremony or something like that in order to do it, but another way that I found has been very useful is to use things like Ho'oponopono, which can be very, very effective at helping to release burdens, helping to forgive. So that's a wonderful thing to be working with on that Tu Ajmak day. After Tu Ajmak, then comes 3 Noach. So it's kind of interesting that in this Trecena of Tz'ikin, we start with these days. It's kind of like, okay, we're going to release our burdens, we're going to forgive and all that kind of thing. And then we go into 3 Noach, which is about the inner knowledge. It's asking you to draw on the knowledge that you carry and contain within yourself, because the three can sometimes be seen as a bit challenging. But really what it is it's challenging in the outside world. It's not really that challenging. It's actually quite a good number when you know how to use it. 3 is about going within. 3 is about looking within the home or looking within the self for the best use of that day. And what is that day connected to? Information, knowledge, sorting out problems. Okay, and so it's asking you to go within. It might be the day when you sort of like, I don't know, if you try looking through books or going on the internet or something like that and trying to find a solution like that, you might just keep coming up against brick walls. Because 3 Noch is saying, don't look outside, look inside. Because the knowledge is already within you. We move from 3 Noch into 4 Tijax. So Tijax is one of our healing days. Tijax is one of our perfection days. Tijax is about cutting away that which doesn't fit so that we can bring it to, or so that we can get to the glory of it, so we can get to its divine self. Like polishing your diamond. Tijax is the day of the obsidian blade. It's the day of the healer and the warrior. Each of those cutting away what is causing the self or the body or the society to go out of balance. And so Tijax is very much about honing things to perfection. And here it's combined with the number 4, which is all about the material world. It's all about the physical. So this is a great day for making physical adjustments, maybe physical cuts. Sometimes I talk about Tijax being like the editor. You know how an editor will remove kind of like what's superfluous in order to bring out the best of something. Well, here with 4 Tijax, it's like, okay, what in your physical world can you remove in order to bring out the best of your vision? What can you do in order to make that happen? And so sometimes surgery is not painless, right? But it's necessary. And so it's here to make a cut in the physical, in the material world. Decluttering would be an excellent exercise for a 4 Tijax day, that's for sure. particularly on the physical level, yeah? So, after 40 hash, we then go into 5 Kawok. So Kawok is the rain. Now, very unusually, we've had rain twice here in the last couple of weeks or so. This is very unusual for Guatemala at this time. I don't think we're going to get another one, but who knows? But Kawok is also the midwife. I see these two aspects of healing going together. We have the active aspect of healing, which we could see as masculine, active, and then the feminine, passive act of healing that comes with Kawok. So the surgeon makes a cut, and then the healer dresses the wound, and actually that's where the healing happens. Kawok is a very feminine day. It represents the rain and it represents the midwife, and it's about bringing the new into the world, helping the new to be born into the world. And here we have it with the number 5. So the number 5, the day of work, the day of the application of the energy to the system. So this is the day to put your energy into birthing into being what you want to bring in. Basically, it's a day to be putting energy into the vision that you wish to birth into the world. It can also be seen as putting your energy into any form of healing that may be required at that time in order to bring your vision in.
That's 5 Kawok.
That's 5 Kawok, yeah. And from 5 Kawok, we then move into 6 Ajpu. So Ajpu is the sun. Ajpu is the path to the divine. It's our spiritual path in one way or another. Ajpu I sometimes call like the ascension point. It's like the journey to ascension. It's the mystical side of life as well. And so 6 Ajpu, well, the number 6 is that physical number 4, but here it's connected to the heart of the sky and the heart of the earth. So it's drawing on the divine masculine and the divine feminine in order to stabilize it and bring it into this world. And so it's kind of like saying, okay, you may well receive messages from kind of like the other worlds, but it's like, how do you stabilize it into this path, into this world? And so 6 Ajpu can be an excellent day to be looking at what might be your spiritual path or something like that, to receive the information about it, but actually how to progress with it in this world. How do you take it to the next level? From 6 Ajpu, we then go into 7 Imosh. Imosh, the Nawal of the lake. Imosh, the Nawal of the dream world. Imosh, the Nawal of the collective consciousness. Combined with the number 7. Now 7 can represent the top of the pyramid. When we're standing on the top of the pyramid, always think about if we're at Tikal, standing on Temple 4. When we look out, we look over the jungle, we see Temple 1, Temple 2, Temple 3. We see the sweet spots, we see these important sacred places. And they are our options. What do you want to go to? Temple 1, Temple 2, Temple 3. We're not looking at what's down on the jungle floor, all the other kind of like small dwellings or whatever. We're looking at special bits. So 7 is about seeing our best options. Imosh is about our dreams. So there's something about, it's like, right, okay, maybe you've got 2 or 3 dreams that you want to be following. 7 Imosh is a day about choosing which one to follow. It's about putting you're using your vision to understand which one you want to go for. And like if you're being shown it, it doesn't really matter which one you go for, so long as you go for one of them. Now the other thing that 7 can represent is death and endings. And there is a kind of like way that I could see it, is that when something becomes a vision, it's the end of the dream. You know, when we're dreaming, like the dream world can be, it's not very cohesive. It can be very like, it has a lot of movement. It's certainly not linear. When we start to turn a dream into a vision, it's when we put it into something which is a bit more tangible, a bit more linear, right? And so it's kind of like, could be finalizing the dream to create a vision from it in this Tz'ikin Trecena. And from that we're then going to go into 8 Ik. So Ik, the wind, communication, the breath of life. 8 Ik. Well, the 8 days are often ceremony days. And so 8 Ik would be an excellent day to make a ceremony to bless the breath, to make a ceremony to bless the lungs. It could be a great day to make a ceremony to give thanks for the fresh air that we breathe. Ik is also about change. One of the reasons why we have dry season right now is because the wind should be coming down from the north, bringing the dry, cold air from Mexico. And then in April it will swing round to the west and whatever, and bring the wet air from the Pacific, and it will go into rainy season. So literally, the rain and the dry are what bring life and death, what bring change, and it's all driven by the wind. So 8 Ik is also a great day to make ceremony to both give thanks for the changes in your life and ask for help to adapt to them. It's a very powerful ceremonial day in many ways, and particularly what we're looking at, like I say, with the lungs, with the air, and with change. It's a great day to kind of like be giving a few candles to the fire. From 8 Ik, we're then going to go into 9 Aq'qb'al. So Aq'qb'al, the dusk and the dawn. Aq'qb'al, one of my favourite ways to translate Aq'qb'al would be twilight, because that's exactly what it is. It's the moment before sunrise. And the sky starts to get light, but there's no sun in the sky. And so Aq'qb'al is our bridge between the dream world and the physical world. It is about helping us to bring new concepts into the world. It is a day which could represent conception. And it's a day when we can see how our dreams can be brought to light, because that transition from night to day, from darkness to light, it's like I often see Aq'qb'al as, we could say shining a light on something. Sometimes something which has been hidden away. Now here it's combined with the number 9, the number of the feminine, also the number of life. And so this is literally bringing a new concept to life in our Trecena of our new vision. And so it's like maybe shining a light on something that was hidden, maybe illuminating a dream that you used to have, and it like comes back to life again. This is 9 Aq'qb'al, and Aq'qb'al days are great days to go out and meditate at sunrise or sunset. Sunrise for me is usually the better one, but that's me maybe. But go out, engage with your dreams. Certainly on Aq'qb'al days, make sure your dream journal is by your bed so that you can write down what's coming through in that time. And so these are Aq'qb'al days. These are good things to do on them. From 9 Aq'qb'al, we're then going to go into 10 Kat. The Nawal Kat is the Nawal of the net. It's about gathering. It's about bringing things together. It's also about attachments. Now, when we think of Kat, one of the things we can think about is what we're carrying in our bag, what we're carrying in our net. Kat days are also good days to be working out, this I need right now. This was once something which was very useful, but not so much anymore. Maybe I can let that out. Maybe I can make some space in my net for something new to come in by releasing something which is actually now more of a burden than a blessing, something which is holding me back from my new vision. So look through your net, whether your net is where you live, whether your net is, what's in your backpack, what you're carrying, or whether your net is what's in your heart, to see what can be released to help your new vision to come in. Now we have it with the number 10. The number 10 representing hands coming together, like community, agreement, and society. And so it can be very much like coming together with friends to help each other out, to sort each other out. Like, what's in your bag? What can you help each other? Be a great day for one of these kind of like clothes swap times or whatever, like a packer kind of thing or something like that. I release this from my net. Oh, you're releasing that. I like that. Yeah, let's swap these things around. And I know that that's just kind of like one idea, but that on emotional, on spiritual, and mental levels as well. What can you share with your community? How can you help them to fill their nets by releasing something from yours? Maybe there's something that you're carrying that is exactly what somebody else needs in their net right now. So it's a great day for getting together with people and doing that, for sharing. Probably one of the ultimate days of sharing, I would think. From there, we're then going to move into 11 Can. And so Can, the Nawal of power and wisdom. Can, the Nawal of the serpent, can be the Nawal of illusion as well, of the creative energy. And that number 11 is a very high number, and it can be quite unpredictable. We don't know which direction it's going to go in. Now, the great thing about not knowing which direction it's going to go in is that we go along a bunch of new paths. We go to places we've not been before. We do things we've not done before because I'm going to go in that direction. That's it. That's the way that we feel about it. And that takes us to new discoveries. It takes us to new creativity through embracing that. But with the energy of Can is very strong and can be, kind of unpredictable as well. And the 11 being unpredictable, this could be a day when you might really want to be very, very careful about where you put your energy. Because Can is about our energy. It can be about our creative energy. It can be about seduction as well. And the 11, with that strength and impulsive nature, might be something where we kind of just want to take a breath before we react. Because sometimes can be like the angry serpent that strikes as well. It's like, do we really want to strike? Maybe we should take a breath and think about it first. Yeah. Now, the other way that we can also see it is kind of like, if the 11 is going in many different directions, we could be gathering wisdom from many different directions to bring into our new vision. And so, again, as I said, when we're following the same path over and over, we're not going to get to the new vision. We're not going to get to this re-evaluation of our wisdom. And so 11 can bring that in. From 11 Can, we're then going to go into 12 Kamei. Kamei being the Nawal of death, being the Nawal of transformation. Kamei also being the Nawal of the ancestors. And Kamei brings us this opportunity to transform, this opportunity to face our fears. And sometimes, that's exactly what it brings us. And sometimes we kind of want to hide from that, right? But when we face things and when we go through our fears, that's when we actually transform through them. That's when we actually move forward. So Kamei days give us the opportunity to do that. So when our fears come up on Kamei days, we're like, right, okay, now I know why that's come up right now. But what's the number about? Well, the number is the number 12, and the number 12 represents the bringing together and drawing on all of our life's experiences. And so this is maybe a day where something comes up for you to deal with, and you have to look back on what was going on before. Maybe it's something from 10, 15, 20 years ago or something like that can use to help you to overcome a fear that you're facing right now. Maybe it's drawing on the life experience of your ancestors even. Maybe it's your grandma, your grandpa or something like that. Maybe it's something that they went through that you feel a resonance right now that you can use to help you to move forward in this moment, in this time. And then finally, we're going to end up on 13 Kiach. Another very, very powerful day. Very, very strong day is 13 Kiach. Kiach represents the wilderness. It represents the mountain. Kiach also can represent the spiritual leader. And the number 13 represents the ancestors in the spirit world. So this is certainly a day to be engaging with ancestral leadership, the wisdom that comes from ancestral spiritual leaders. This is certainly a day to, if your spirit needs enlivening and enhancing, then going out into the mountains, going out into the wilderness is a day when you may find that spirit or the ancestors will talk to you a little bit more clearly than they normally do, as it were. And so 13 Kech is certainly a day when, a hike or something like that might end up as a much more spiritual experience than you thought it would to begin with. So that's a great exercise to do on that. But it's also a very, very strong day. Kech as spiritual leader, or Kech as this day of strength, can be something which, we have to be a bit careful with its power, because it is a very, very powerful nawal to carry. And when we have that turned up to 13, it might also bring like lows as well as highs. So be sure of what you're doing when you go out into the forest. But all in all, 13 Kech, helping us to connect to the spirit of the wilderness, is one of the best days of all for doing that. Okay? So, thank you everybody. Thanks for hearing this. And hopefully I'll see you again in 13 days' time when we go into the Trecena of Tz'ikin.